Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin with Reedsy, and in today's video we're going to be covering the 7 steps for writing a query letter. A query letter is the literary equivalent of a cover letter. It's a pitch meant to introduce a literary agent to your book, including details of its title, category, word count, genre, and why it's a good fit for this specific agent. An agent might receive a dozen or more query letters per day, and only sign 5 authors in a year, so it's important that your query letter is as polished, streamlined, and professional as possible. You'll also want to keep it concise. Less is more, and not go longer than 300 or 400 words. Step 1 is to start with a greeting. Something general like "to whom it may concern" doesn't work here. Your greeting needs to be specific and personalized to each agent, or it looks like you've just mass submitted without paying attention to what each specific agent wants. If you have some sort of eye-catching detail, such as a successful previous publication, referral from another author or someone in the publishing industry, or if you've met this agent before in person, you can remind them of that at the start. If not, just jump right into your pitch. Step 2 is to create a hook. Agents are going to be reading through swarms of query letters, so you'll want to capture their interest and show them why your book is something unique and fresh. It could be the irresistible notion of the premise if you're writing something high concept, or some fascinating detail of the conflict or intrigue. This might be one of the most difficult aspects of writing your query letter, but creating a good hook right from the start can really set your query apart. Step 3 is to write the synopsis. If you've captured the agent's attention, the synopsis is your chance to show them that your book is more than just a unique idea, that you've developed it into a fleshed out plotline as well. The synopsis shouldn't spoil the entire plot. It's more akin to what you'd read on a book's dust jacket. Focus on establishing the central characters, central plot, and central conflict or mystery, and make sure to establish the stakes, aka what the protagonist has to win or lose. This might seem like a lot to cover, especially in only around 150 words, so make sure you stay on track without getting distracted by side tangents or small interesting details. Those details might be really interesting, but you don't have time for them, and you don't want your query letter to be cluttered. Step 4 is to introduce yourself as a writer. So now that you've pitched your book, it's time to introduce yourself. Again, you don't have a lot of space, so leave out personal details that aren't relevant. But some things you might want to mention would be previous publications, if you've had short stories published, if you've won any writing awards or competitions, if you're a graduate of a writing program, or if you've attended any writing conferences, retreats, or workshops. If there's an aspect of your personal life that directly relates to your book, you can also mention that. Say you're writing a book about an art theft and you yourself are an art historian. If you have any large social media platforms, this is also a great thing to mention. This shows the agent that you're marketing savvy, and that your book will have a marketing edge because you already have an established social media presence. It can also be a really good idea to include comparative titles. This book is like if this met this, or this book will appeal to fans of this and this. However, avoid comparing to super popular books such as Harry Potter or super obscure books the agent may not have heard of. You'll also want to avoid comparing to titles that are completely dissimilar from each other, or from what you've just pitched, since it'll only confuse the agent about the nature of your work. Personalize the letter. This goes just beyond mentioning the agent's name at the beginning. Do your research on this agent. Your book is comparable to works by authors this agent represents. Mention that. Or reference something that you've heard the agent say they were looking for at a conference or on social media. These little touches show you've done your research, not just copied and pasted the same query letter to a dozen different agents. Proofread. First, double check to make sure you've included all of these points. Title, genre, category, comparable titles, and word count. Some queries will introduce the title and genre at the beginning, whereas others leave all of this information until after the synopsis. Then double, triple, and quadruple check your spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Lots of editors also offer very affordable query critiques, which might be something to look into if you really want to make your query letter shine before you start sending it out to agents. It's also a great idea to look at successful query examples. In the description, I'll link an article from Writer's Digest, where an agent goes over a successful query letter and explains why it was so strong. You can also check out the blog Query Shark for tons of examples of queries and what was going both right and wrong with them. Finally, if you want to revisit anything I said in this video, I'll leave a link to Reedsy's blog post on the topic in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to subscribe for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, bye!